I'm in a good mood today. I feel like killing somebody. So here's an update, and this will be useful both for entertainment type of viewers and for professionals that plan or have used my services. You know, when a trucker tells you something, sometimes it's good to listen, you know, and not go with, but we always do this. Oh, we ship this 1,000 times, never a problem. You're the first to say this. So I spent 2 days at truck stop in Smith Creek, Michigan, also known as Kimball, Michigan, also known in some underground circles as Marysville, Michigan. Well, what's funny is that Marysville starts on the other side of that road. Like that Meyer, that's already Marysville because there's a sign there that says Marysville. But this part, it's called Kimball Township, or this particular place is called Smith's Creek. It's like one place is like 3 names, you know. Anyway, so I was sitting here, right, because the ITN was not ready. The paper for crossing. And the good news is that yesterday they agreed with me and they added my detention fee to the rate confirmation. And if you remember, I was talking about this load, you know, that I drove all this many miles, but I had no choice, you know, to Michigan, right, from Houston. And that's also one of the other rules of heavy haul, or just trucking in general, is that a cheap load can only get worse. You know, like things can only get worse when you have a cheap load. There'll be a lot of complications, and this is basically what happened here, right? So turns out they only submitted this ITN export 72-hour notification to US Customs on Monday, right? Where I booked this load Wednesday, and the broker, I was like trying to find like who to blame for this, and the freight broker says she talked to the buyer, to her customer who bought this machine at the auction. She called him on Wednesday. As soon as she booked my load, she called him, and she says she explained the procedure to him, that he has to, it's his responsibility, and plus the customs broker, to do all this paperwork and submit the 72-hour notice by email or fax or phone call to the specific port of crossing, in this case Port Huron. And there's an email there. And then all of us were included in the email from the customs broker, where she explained again the procedure in writing. And again, they give you there's a special email address. It's like vehicle export something for that particular port. You know, all you have to do is you take that paperwork you have with that ITN number and just send it to this, and then you copy that, you know, sent email so that you can see the date and time, and you start your 72-hour clock from that, you know, date and time. But this guy, it took him a while, and they say they blame the customs broker, saying that the customs broker did not supply them all the documents. But anyway, of course, this is Livingston in this case. They're very big, very busy, right? So they only did everything Monday, right? And that's how come when I arrived here Tuesday, and I called the border CBP at Port Huron, gave them the ITN. They were able to pull it up on their computer. They said, yeah, it's submitted, it's in the system. The 72-hour rule expires 11:15 on Thursday, which is today. And so I said, oh, okay, I want $375 US a day, which is like modest. I asked other guys, and everybody says $500, $600, $1,000, because it's not my fault and it's not the freight broker's fault, right? So I said $375 US a day for 2 days and $100 for a hotel. And they didn't want to pay. The customer didn't want to pay, but then eventually I sent them the invoice, right? I said, this is it. This is the new amount. Which was, again, cheap to begin with, right? At least now I have something, because Thursday, right, I got loaded Monday. So this load has been on my trailer for 4 days. So if somebody wants to use my trailer as a storage yard, as a warehouse, you have to pay, right? Because if you put this in storage, right, I don't know, probably a couple of $100 a day, right? And so finally, yesterday I got the confirmation, the revised rate confirmation, which says, yeah, Sergei Drachev will be paid this and this. And then this morning, I came from the hotel, check on the truck, everything is good. And I still had time before this 11:15 a.m., right? So I went to Starbucks across the street, prepared all the paperwork, printed everything out, you know. But, oh, and I got an email. I got an email from the broker saying that they still have not received any money from the customer. And they asked me to, you know, to wait with the delivery until they're paid so they can pay me. And I said, well, I'm still in Smith Creek, Michigan, you know. I'm not going anywhere because it's still too early. And I said, there is a 50-50 chance that I will be turned around, right? So I told you guys about original documents. They did not say anything. And so I printed out everything, and of course I have only copies. Like I have like this Timberjack machine, right? It's no longer made. This one is a 1992. So Timberjack does not exist anymore. But most of the time, US guys want a certificate of origin, and it has to be an original. And how do you supply a certificate of origin when the factory is no longer in existence, right? And so anyway, I got fuel here, $2.85 a gallon, super nice. And like 11:45, started making my way towards the border. It's only like, I don't know, 5 miles from here. So I go there, park on the left, and I can see the bridge. I can see Canada. I parked on the left, turned on my four-way flashes, went inside, and you have to stand behind a door. You cannot enter unless they motion you in. No cell phones. Okay, and this lady motions me in, and right away I can see that I'm in trouble because she does not know. I said, I have an ITN shipment. And she says, what's that? And I was not sure if she was asking me what ITN is or what kind of a load I have. I said, it's a forestry machine, a loader, Timberjack. So I gave her the documents. She started asking her colleagues what an ITN is and how to do it, you know like, this is it. I'm going back. Because if she does not know, she's gonna go by the book, right? Whatever other people tell her. And actually, yeah, last time when I was crossing, I had exactly the same. It was a copy of an invoice, or you know, which they count that as a bill of sale as long as it says paid, but we just wrote ITN number on it, like a loan number. But this one is sifting through my paperwork, and all I got is like, I got my bill of lading. I got the bill of lading. I prepared my own bill of lading. I always do that. So I have like 2 bills of lading. One is usually supplied by the freight broker, and I do my own because it shows all my contact info, my MC number, US DOT number, just to cover my, rear a little bit so that people know I really delivered this. And I got signatures on both the broker, BL, and mine. And then I send it to them as a proof of delivery. It works every time. I learned this from the previous company, was when I worked for Landstar, actually. I remember we only used the Landstar bills of sale, bill of lading. We only used Landstar bill of lading when the customer or the shipper did not supply their own, right? And that was fine for them, a huge company. But for some reason, when I switched to this premium outfit in Ontario as an owner operator, they always insisted that we do our own handwritten bill of lading. And so I don't know, I started doing that myself, just maybe even for marketing purposes, and so this lady keeps sifting through everything, and I said there's a invoice from the auction, and there's my bill of lading, and there's the broker bill of lading. That's it. She keeps sifting, and I just wanted, put my hand on top and say, stop it. You already went through that, pile once, but she's clearly nervous. And anyway, and she calls her colleague, and the colleague says, oh, so what he has, I'm not there, right? So what does he have? And the first one says, well, he just has this. Does he have a certificate of origin? And I'm sitting 2 feet away, right? Because they told me to sit down. Does he have a certificate of origin? And the first lady goes through the stack again. No. Is that the original? No. Well, then he cannot go. Just maybe go talk to the supervisor. If he allows this, then this might work. And I'm sitting there. And then the trainee, the first lady, goes, talks to her boss, I guess, comes back and says, sir, I stand up and I know that I'm going back. She says, what we need the original certificate of origin, and I said, excuse me, this company is no longer in business. And they said, well, in that case, we need either a certificate of origin from whoever took them over, whoever bought them, or we need something in writing saying that the certificate of origin is not available. Notarized. Sorry, I still have my nose running a little bit. And she said, or plan B, option B, if you cannot supply certificate of origin or the letter saying that there's no certificate of origin, then we want a bill of sale, original and notarized. And I said, will this invoice work that I have? That I invoice from the auction? Because I said, that's all these guys get. This is already a second or third time I move these small machines, and they never have a bill of sale. They just have an invoice with the stamp paid. And the other lady says, yeah, that will work, but we need the original and it must be notarized. And so I came back here, and today is Thursday. And so I sent an email to the broker and the buyer together, and Livingston. The subject line reads, bad news from Sergey. Export refused. So hopefully that caught the attention. And before I did the email, I went inside, talked to the boss, the manager of the gas station. I said, guys, here's the situation. I'm a trucker stuck here, need some original documents that might be couriered, overnighted here. Can I use your address? Here's my business card. I said, you can, text me, call me when you receive something. I'm going to put my name at the top and then just write C/O, care of. Are you okay with that? And they said, yeah, that's fine. I said, you received packages here, like courier packages? She says, yeah. And I got her name, the manager name, so everything is cool. And so I put that in the email. I said, either you drive here and bring me the original, because the buyer is 1 hour on the Canadian side, like the place where I'm supposed to deliver. It's just near London. If they drive, they can be here like in a couple of hours, you know, if he has originals. But the auction was, I have no idea where the auction was. Like my broker is from Ohio, right? The machine was sitting in Michigan. The actual auction place, yeah, Wayne, Michigan. So I need the same piece of paper that I have, except it must be original. It must be notarized, right? Because I don't think they can supply a certificate of origin. But yeah, this happened. This is like the probably second time this happened. And sometimes it works. You know, sometimes copies work, sometimes they don't. It depends on who you get. Hello, Sergey. Okay, will do. Thank you. All right, good news. I just got a call from the auction guy, and turns out he's not that far. He's in Wayne, Michigan, which is Detroit actually. So it's just, he's like hour and a half from here. I thought he would say you can drive over here, but he said no. He can. He says I can email you the invoice, and you can print it out and go find a notary and notarize it. I said, how can I notarize a copy? You know, I said, well, he says, it's up to you. I can send you the original. He says, I can go to UPS, they will notarize it, and I can send you the original. I just wanna save you some time. And I said, no. I said, I'd rather wait. I said, if you can get me this by tomorrow, I'm okay. I told them I'm not gonna charge them any detention as long as I can cross tomorrow. But if I'm here till Monday, somebody will have to be responsible. And this guy also blames the customs, Livingston. He says they didn't do a very good job. So the buyer was not aware of what was required. But I told him this might happen, you know. But you remember how I started this? Saying that they never listen to truckers. Like, I know that if you want to do it 100%, like bulletproof, it has to be originals. But usually, like half of the time, nobody has that, you know. But I remember once I was picking up a machine at the Ritchie Brothers in Florida, like Miami or Jacksonville, I forgot, right? And I remember I was owner-operator for this guy in Ontario, and I remember they kept emailing me like every couple of hours, do not leave until you pick up an envelope with the original certificate of origin. Do not leave the auction. You know, so they were very strict about this. And so basically it turns out that the manufacturer of that, I think it was a rock truck, you know, like a Caterpillar rock truck. And Caterpillar was actually mailing the original, like properly stamped, you know, notarized, whatever, to the auction. And it said, my attention, you know, driver so-and-so truck. And so I was sitting there. I remember I was sitting there for one day. Yeah, like I got loaded. That thing still was not there, and I think I spent the night. And the next day it showed up, and then they said, yeah, now you can go. You see? And of course, if I insisted, they would ship it here while I was at the hotel, right? But you see, like, even I tell the guy that this is the two choices I was given by the U.S. Customs: either the certified, notarized original invoice, or original certificate of origin. And this guy still wanted me to print out an email. So now I know, after sitting for 2 days, I know that I'm not taking any chances. And so the guy says, could you text me your address where you want it sent? And I think that was his reply. I just sent him a message. I said, please send notarized original via UPS or FedEx overnight to. Okay, so we should be good. So all I gotta do now is, I guess, send an email to the broker and the buyer, telling them the delivery is delayed by 1 day. But honestly, I don't care about money right now, because that would mean more negotiation. This machine is not worth, that much. So I understand the buyer, that he doesn't want to, pay too much, because it's not like a big excavator, right, where the costs are pretty high. But it's a funny looking transformer machine, as the broker put it. So that's the update. So if you ever do something like this just to cover your ear, always insist on having original documents. And when they tell you that, oh, we do it like this all the time, that's all you need, don't worry about it. Just tell them to go and boil an egg or something. Okay, so I just hope that, no, but at least I found the right person. I like that he's not that far. It's definitely going to be here tomorrow morning, and then I can cross. So all I got to do now is I gotta go into my customs website and change the time of arrival to Canadian customs, right? Because in this case, I stop on, right now we're at the stage of dealing with US customs, right? But once I'm released by US customs and I go over the bridge, that's Canadian customs, and they get very upset when you show up there more than 6 hours off your ETA that I told them, right? And I told them that I'll be crossing at 12 o'clock today. And since it's going to be like tomorrow, so I have to go in and it's a very quick procedure, I'm already so good with this. Like, I never thought that I would be able to do customs by myself, like the trucking part. Like, I don't do the customer part, the shipment, they do that. But I do my side where, yeah, I put in the truck trailer, driver name, it's already pre-saved in there. And then I just add the shipment, description, serial number, what it is, like make and model, year, if I know that. And the shipper name and the consignee name, like full address. And then I print out the ACI or ACE, the cover sheet for the manifest, and that's it. So now I just need to go in and quickly change the time and date, and hopefully this thing will be here tomorrow, and I can cross and get this off my deck finally. And last point, and that's why, loads like this, international loads, you cannot do for cheap. Like, if you look at the mileage, right, like moving something from, let's say, Houston to Chicago, it's one thing, but moving something from Houston to Toronto, it's a different matter. It's two different countries. There's much more paperwork. You can have delays, like you have to know what you're doing, you have to be certified, registered with customs, you have to have a bunch of paperwork, and so it has to pay more than domestic shipments inside Canada or inside US. And quite often people forget that, like, hey, it's only 500 miles, like, what the heck? Yeah, that's why this Timberjack, today's day number 4 that I have it on my deck, right? And the loaded miles was only 500. I just pray that I'll be able to unload tomorrow, and that puts me like in a bad position because, okay, I'll have a weekend to myself. I just want to, even though I didn't work, right? But it's not exactly a rest when every day you spend looking at the load board, or you try to solve the issue with customs and export and money. you know, you still need to forget about this trucking for a couple of days. So Saturday, Sunday, if I'm back in Canada, I'll just go to a hotel and then I'll relax, maybe go to Toronto or Niagara Falls or something if the weather's good, you know, maybe do some photography. I just need to forget about this. And my truck is already posted as available for Monday in Kitchener. And I send out an email to my contacts, like brokers I worked with before, saying that the RGN available in Kitchener. Available date is Monday, what is it, 25th? 25th. Going to anywhere. So I can go anywhere, up to 8 axles, up to 95,000 pounds. So 10 axles, what you see in the video in the beginning and the end, that's coming in January, right? I just try to create some marketing buzz, so to speak. But yeah, as of January, I will be able to do 9 or 10 axles, depending on the jurisdiction. So if I keep my pusher down and I can properly load it, I can do 10 axle stuff. But basically, the gross will be about close to 200,000 pounds, you know. And probably we'll have more delays and we'll have more videos like this, more exciting videos like this. But at least I'm glad that I did the oil change, right? I did check the hubs on the trailer, greased them, right? The guy greased them because they were all dry. And a couple of things I still want to do is, I still have that broken fender on the passenger side. If you remember, I don't know what happened to me, but I forgot to lift the support legs on the neck, and I started turning, and that leg just cut through one fender. And I know somebody said you can weld it. There's a special welding machine that can weld it, so I want to fix that because it doesn't look good. And second, as I was driving in Texas, I discovered that I lost the cap for the hydraulic tank. So I don't know, I might have driven, I don't know, 1,000 miles with no cap on the hydraulic oil tank. So I don't feel too good about that. Like, everything works, right? The hydraulic works, but I suspect I might have some dust and water in there. And plus, with the winter coming, what I want to do is I want to switch the oil for this winter oil, you know, which stays more like liquid in cold weather. Otherwise, it takes forever to warm up the PTO. And I thought of, but I don't know now, since, well, if I'm back on Friday, maybe I'll just go straight to PTO shop and do this. But I want to flush the tank, you know, clean it up and put new oil in, and I want to replace that filter. There's a little oil filter on the side. That's one thing. And second thing, right? So fender, then this, and then the shock. I think I showed this, right? The shock on the driver's side on the pusher axle is busted, and I finally found them. So the Kenworth in Cambridge is holding two for me. And also I discovered when I did that feel by touch test of shocks, all of them are on the trailer and on the truck, all of them are fine except the first axle on the trailer. For some reason they were cold each time I tried them, and that's a clear indication that they need to be replaced. And also I asked Kenworth to find these, and they said, yeah, we can get you 2 of these. And so that's thing number 3, that I'm supposed to stop at Kenworth and pick up these 4 shocks and then have them installed somewhere. So you see, so because I couldn't do it here, I couldn't find the shocks, you know. But as I was sitting for 2 days, of course I could have done something, but you know, things are happening. So anyway, so now it's off back to the Starbucks. I don't think I can look at another coffee again because I already had like 3 coffees. Now we're gonna do the video, upload it, and keep you guys entertained. Captain Sergey out.